So this past week, I went to an entrepreneurial summit in my town, and I went to a seminar on being an expert. And some of the things they said really made me think about how that applies to homeschooling. So I wanted to share 3 thoughts I had with you all on how to be a homeschooling expert. Okay. So here's tip number 1. You already are an expert. You just need to believe in yourself. There's this saying in the business world, fake it till you make it. And part of the psychology behind that is when we believe in something, that we are a business person, that we are capable of achieving our dreams, that we are an expert homeschool parent, that changes our feelings about ourselves. We feel confident, we feel empowered, we feel hopeful, and that will change our actions, that we'll take actions from this place of confidence rather than from fear and doubt. So I just want you all to know a big secret. You are a homeschool expert, even if you just started homeschooling an hour ago, because you know your children more than anybody else does. So you are an expert in how to homeschool your children. Oftentimes, we just need to believe in ourselves. And even if you've been homeschooling for a while, you might not feel like you're an expert because you haven't read all these books these people have read, or you haven't written a curriculum, or you haven't, homeschooled through the teen years yet, or you don't feel like you really understand this or that subject, or you're not doing this right, so therefore you're not an expert. So I just want you to throw all that away and believe and have confidence that you are already a homeschooling expert. Fake it till you make it. Believe in yourself. Believe that you have the answers. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "What would you do if you believed that you couldn't fail?" Oftentimes, I talk to homeschooling parents and they tell me about a situation that they're having and they say, "Well, what should I do?" And I often ask, "Well, what do you think you should do?" They're like, "Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you." And I say, "Okay, but if you already knew the answer, what would you do? Let's just pretend you knew what to do. What would you do?" And oftentimes they give me this brilliant idea. And I'm like, "That sounds amazing. Why don't you go try that?" And they just needed someone to point out to them that they already have the answers inside of them, that they already are the expert on their own children. Sometimes we feel like we need an expert outside of us to tell us that this or that is correct or the right thing to do. We don't know you. We don't know your kids. Ask yourself those questions when you feel the fear and the doubt and you feel the confusion and you don't know what direction to take. Ask yourself, what would I do in this situation if I knew I couldn't fail? If I already knew the answer, what would I do? We often get in a dilemma that we have to choose between this or that. And we tend to overthink things and we don't move forward. And it's that indecision and being stuck in that kind of rut that makes us feel kind of hopeless or powerless to change or to move forward or to change things in our homeschool. You need to take the 2 choices off the table and just write everything that could possibly come into your mind and just decide to take action. Just to have that confidence that I'm an expert, I know exactly what to do. And if you make a decision, you try one thing, you sign up for this thing, and you don't like it, or it doesn't seem to be working, then try something different, make another decision. But that forward momentum will build your confidence because oftentimes you know in your heart what the next step is. And by taking that next step, it'll build your confidence to move forward and take further action. So tip number 1, believe in yourself. You already are a homeschool expert. So here's tip number 2 to becoming a homeschool expert. Grow your knowledge base. So if you want to be an expert in any field, you just need to learn more than someone who's never done that particular hobby or never studied that particular topic. And then you can be an expert and pass on what you know to that next person. Same thing with homeschooling. You don't have to know everything about every subject. You don't have to know everything about every learning difficulty. You don't have to know everything about some magical formula that's going to make your kid turn out a certain way, because that doesn't actually exist. So just increase your knowledge base every day a little bit. There are several simple ways to do this. Podcasts are one. I have a great one that you might want to check out. You can listen in the car. You can listen while you're walking. You can listen while you're doing dishes. Find those little pockets of time where you're busy doing something, but your mind can be busy learning at that same time. So podcasts, audiobooks are great for that. If you have time to read, and we all do because we're on social media right now, find 15 minutes, set a timer, be intentional, put it on your calendar. Okay, I'm going to read for 15 minutes every day after lunch. The kids can have some quiet playtime. Schedule it into your day, or, like everything else, it's not going to happen unless we're intentional. So be intentional about growing your mind. And it doesn't just have to be on homeschooling. So pick up a new hobby, take up a new handicraft that you've always wanted to learn, read a book on some subject that you're super interested in. You growing as a person is going to make you a better homeschooling parent. So in order to be an expert, work on growing your knowledge base. And here's tip number 3 on becoming a homeschool expert. Surround yourselves with peers and mentors that can grow and challenge you. This probably won't be your spouse. It might or may not be family or friends. Find people in your homeschool community that can help you on this homeschooling journey. So if you want to grow as an expert, you find people around you who are also growing and learning. You can share and bounce ideas off each other, have those peer kind of relationships. We often can get with other homeschooling parents and just want to vent and talk about all the hardships and all the challenges. And there's definitely relationships that serve that purpose. That isn't what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about relationships that will spur you on. The kind of relationships where you can say, hey, what are some great things that have been happening in your homeschool lately? What are some wins that you've been having? What's an area that you've been trying to grow in or trying to learn more in? I'm having an issue with this. What's something you've had success in? Have you ever dealt with this? Work through and kind of be strategic with them. And also finding community can be challenging sometimes, but we live in an amazing day and age where we can have virtual community. Find a Facebook group where they're encouraging each other and it's not just people venting and complaining, as oftentimes it is on social media, but find a group that is challenging, that has content where they can help each other grow and learn. And you can grow and learn online from so many different people as well. And that leads me to mentors. So mentors are people that are kind of a little bit farther on beyond you. They could be people with older children, people who have homeschooled for longer. Again, they can kind of pour into your life and spur you on. And that may or may not be something you can find in your local community. It might be something you can find online. Sally Clarkson, love you, was my homeschool mentor for years, and she doesn't even know me. She has no idea. Hey, Sally, if you want to hang out, just let me know. Reading all her books, listening to all her podcasts was what kind of shaped me and helped me grow as a homeschooler and as a parent. So finding peers who can challenge and grow you and finding mentors is going to help you become a homeschooling expert. So those are my 3 tips. Fake it till you make it. Believe that you already are an expert. Number 2, grow your knowledge base. And number 3, find peers and mentors who can help you on your journey. And you are going to be an amazing homeschooling expert.